In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this really nice looking train set from Bachmann called the Chessie Special. My name is Stan, and let me take a moment to welcome you to the train set collector. As mentioned, this is the Chessie Special, and this is the train set we're going to take a look at today. We're going to unbox it, run it, and see what it's all about. But before we get started, I made a few notes that we can kind of go over here that just gives a quick little history, if you will, of this train set, mainly just its appearance in the Bachmann catalog and what you would be expected to pay for this set. So I got my little notes here. So this set first appeared in the 2018 Bachmann catalog, and it had an MSRP of $255 even. Most current catalog, now I know the recording of this is January 4th, but we don't have a 2026 catalog yet, so this set was still in the 2025 catalog, but the MSRP had gone up to $319. As I mentioned, there is no 2026 catalog yet, but I don't see any reason why they'll remove it from the most current catalog, the 2026 one. So that's when the train set appeared in the catalogs and its MSRP. But one thing I want to note, never ever pay MSRP for any Bachmann products. You can generally find them fairly heavily discounted. And then to kind of reinforce that, I made a few notes here. Amazon.com, you can get this exact set for $209.99. Trains with a Z.com is $218.44, and then trainworld.com has it for $259.99. Me personally, this set cost me $149.99 at Menards. I'm not entirely sure why it was basically discounted about 50%. It wasn't discounted on the shelf. There were no clearance tags, nothing like that. So I guess they just had a really, really good deal. And it worked out even better for me because I took something back and then put the money towards this. So, but anyway, that was just to kind of go over the catalog and how much you can expect it to pay, or you can be expected to pay for it. So like I said, the price you're going to find it for at retailers is going to be a lot cheaper than MSRP. And as you also noted, there were varying prices. So if you're looking to get one of these for yourself or as a gift, absolutely shop around. So now that's out of the way, let's take a quick look at the package, and then we'll get this all unboxed. So Bachmann's modern train sets, I really like the look at them, of these train sets. You can clearly see what you're going to get here. You've got some nice artwork and photography, and there's no real wasted space when it comes to this packaging. If you ever go back and look at some of the old 80s train sets, they make the packaging about as big as they possibly can. But this is pretty efficient, good looking packaging. And the only knock I think I would give the packaging is I wish they had like a little bit thicker plastic, clear plastic that sat behind this to make the train itself just a little bit safer, protect it just a little bit better. But that's just a nitpick. And there's not really a lot to see on the sides, but if you look at the back of the box, you'll see another good image of the train that you're going to get inside the packaging, as well as the list of accessories and what's included. And it'll even have some different track plans that you can build out using this as the base. It'll show you the look of the track and basically what you'll need to build it out. So that is a look at the packaging. So it's pour right there, so we can just peel this off. And just make about as much noise as I possibly can. Another minor nitpick I would give to the packaging would be I wished it just lifted open, and then just everything would be laying right there. But instead, you've got this little tab that you pull out right here, and you just lift that up, and then there will be two sections that you can see inside of here. This section here has our train set, and this has our track and power. So let's just pull those sections out. Ooh. All right, making all kind of noise and making a big mess behind me. So let's go ahead and set the train to the side, and let's focus on our accessories. So first thing we're going to have is some paperwork and the little cable you're going to need to hook up your power. This will go to your controller, and this will go to your track. And in here, you're going to find a list of everything that you need, and there will be some other various information that you might find applicable. I will open that up here in just a few moments. And then right here, you can see our track, which we will pull out in just a few moments. Behind here is the power supply, and then here is our controller. So we'll set that aside for a moment. And then here, we're going to have our locomotive, our freight cars, and caboose. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to pull everything out of the box, and we'll take a look at everything individually. I've got all the accessories out of the box, and you can see them all right here. It's a bit of a wrestling match to get all that out, especially the twist ties holding this in place. And I still got the train itself in this packaging because I want to demonstrate how Bachmann makes these pretty easy to actually get out, or at least in theory. So let's first take a look at the paperwork. So you're going to get a mail off for one of their catalogs. I believe they're $13. Yep, $13 right there. And then here is your registration information. Set that to the side. And like I'd mentioned earlier, this is a list of contents. So when you first get one of these train sets, it's a pretty good idea once you unbox everything to take a look at this little list and just make sure that everything checks off. That way you can go back to your hobby shop or reach out to Bachmann and get whatever is missing. Or in the case of the hobby shop, just exchange it. All right. Next thing we've got is a little booklet here that just gives you some troubleshooting information, some do's and don'ts on getting everything set up, and basically just generally assembly instructions. So let's set that off to the side here. And then we have some information on our locomotive. So this is a USRA 060 and short haul tender, and this has a smoke unit. So I don't know if it comes with smoke fluid, but you can put smoke in there, or smoke fluid in there, and it'll smoke for you. Excuse me. And then you have a little exploded diagram of the locomotive and tender right there. And then the rest of this paperwork is, I believe, just warranty information right there. And then the final thing that you'll get is some information for the world's greatest hobby. And you can see these different track packs and everything to really start expanding your train set into the world of model railroading. All right, so that's our paperwork there. So for track, this has what we call the black roadbed track right here. I'll grab one of these straight pieces. There's going to be 12 of these curves, one straight and one straight re-railer. Bachmann makes two different kinds of this track. This here has the steel rails, and this is what you'll typically find in your train sets, or at least the vast majority of them. There are a few that come with the nickel silver, but most have this track here. And this track works perfectly well. There's nothing wrong with it, but you do kind of have to watch it because the steel rails can corrode and eventually rust if they're not in good conditions, like if you left it outside or something. And so here's our controller, and this is our little wire to hook it up to the track, and this is how you get power. And that's pretty much all there is to the track and to the power system. It's all pretty basic, but it's what you need to get your train up and going. All right, so now let's look at the train set itself. And you can see that basically Bachmann has this plastic molded out. You know, it's got molded areas for the train to sit in. But they give you this nice little plastic here. And this does two things. One is it kind of helps protect the locomotive and cars from the packaging, and also for when you take it out of the packaging, the train car is not rubbing directly up against the packaging. So all you do is find you a couple of corners, and then you just lift it straight up, just like that. So what I always do, if I plan on repackaging it, is I just put these back where I got them. So let's go ahead and just lift each piece out, and then we'll go over them individually, and then we'll just set everything up and run it around the track. All right, so now we're going to get to this tank car. That went in there a little good. And there's our tender. And finally, our little 060 locomotive, if I can get it out. And I do not see any smoke fluid. And there is a little warning on the packaging here. And basically what that's letting you know is that in transit, the wheels can get separated from the trucks, and it just shows you how to pop those back into place. So let's start with our caboose. Now all train sets are pretty basic as far as their detail is concerned, so we'll just kind of get that out of the way. Generally, the only separately applied details you're going to see will be a brake wheel and maybe a couple other little things. So here's our caboose. Pretty basic, Chesapeake in Ohio. And this is an offset caboose, so the cupola is towards the back versus being in the center. And these have plastic wheels, but we do have Easy Mate 2 knuckle couplers. I hope you can see that clearly there. And because this is a caboose, you do have a little bit of extra separately applied detail in that we have our brake wheel, handrails, and ladder on both ends of the caboose. Outside of that, most everything is going to be molded in. So now we have our gondola. Looks really nice. Printing is good. The lettering is nice. Again, with our plastic wheels, but we do have the Easy Mate 2 knuckle couplers. And you can see we got our stirrups here, or our steps. And should be, oh, kind of blended in on me there. I don't know if you can see that because there's a bit of a washout here on the camera, but there's your brake wheel. And we have a triple dome tank car. Now these actually do have a little bit of extra detail on them. You can see a little metal rail that goes all the way around the tank car. And then there's a ladder on each side. And then of course we have our brake wheel here. Same story with the wheels, plastic, and the same knuckle couplers. And printing and everything looks really nice. The detail looks good. I think it's a nice looking little tank car. Final piece of rolling stock is we have a stock car. Again with the plastic wheels, same knuckle couplers. Got a decent amount of molded in detail on the bottom. We've got opening doors here on both sides. Get that to close here. And what is this railroad? Looks like it's Northwestern. So that's a, yep, Chicago Northwestern. So that's a really nice stock car. And that's pretty appropriate too, because Chicago, I think, was a major hub for livestock back in the early 20th century. early 1900s. And here is going to be our tender. It just connects to the locomotive with this little hook here. Same plastic wheels, same knuckle coupler. Got a little bit of nice detail right here. And we've got a non-working reverse light here. And everything else is molded in. And we got our little coal load. Really nice looking tender there. And finally, what everybody's looking forward to seeing probably is the locomotive. So we got our C&O, or Chesapeake and Ohio locomotive there, and I really like that blue color. I just love that blue. And this is an 060, and we've got our pilot here and just a fake coupler, our smokestack, our operating headlight, and we've got a bell, and we got these domes here, and I believe this is going to be a whistle. One of these will be. And we've got some separately applied grab irons going along both sides. And here's our cab where the engineer and the fireman would sit. Pretty basic, no detail other than just some molded in detail, but nothing's painted. And there's the bottom. And so that is it. That's a look at the locomotive. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to get this looper track set up here, and then we're going to run the train for a few moments, and then I'll give some final thoughts on this train set and wrap up the video. All right. So it took me a couple of moments, but I've got the track all set up, and we've got the train already on the track. And if you can see back there in the back corner, that's where I hooked up the power. And you can't see it off camera. You might be able to just kind of see the edge of it. I've got the power pack over here, the controller over here on the side. I needed to kind of rethink my setup a little bit because space is very tight. But anyway, so let's get this train moving here. So we've got our nice 060 locomotive, our tender, our gondola, our triple dome tank car, and then we've got our stock car, and finally we have our caboose. Now it's kind of hard to show, so let me pull this in. But right here, this is our controller, and you can see there's a direction switch, and then there's a dial. This dial, you turn that to increase or decrease the speed. So we're going to turn it to the right, and that'll start moving the train. And we're going to run into some trouble on the other side here. Once this comes around, I'm going to set this back down. All right, so let's speed it up just a bit. And I'm going to bring my mic a little closer so you can hear it. Running pretty quiet. Definitely think that looks nice. It's a nice looking train set. For Bachmann's basic train sets, I think this is one of the nicer ones. Flip my mic back to my shirt. So let's pick up the speed just a little bit. This is a small table, so we don't want to go crazy. So I actually think this is a really nice train set by Bachmann. And this is one that if you like it, you can go pick one up right away. They're available at most any place that sells train sets. And looks to be running pretty smooth. I don't have anything negative to say about this train set. I mean, all train sets by their nature are very basic. You're not going to get a lot of detail. but they're going to have everything that you need to set up and run and to kind of get you going into the hobby of model railroading. So it achieves what it needs to, and I think it looks pretty good doing it. All right, well, that is a look at this Bachmann Chessie Special HO scale electric train set. I think it looks nice, and I think it would be a nice set to get someone started in the hobby of model railroading. All right, well, once I shut up, I'm going to get a few more shots of this running, and then we'll end the video. But if you enjoyed taking a look at this train set, do me a favor and help the channel by hitting that subscribe button down below, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Do you have this train set? And if so, what's your thoughts on it? Or if you don't, what was your first train set? I would love to hear all about it. Well, all right. Until next video, happy model railroading, guys. Take care.